Yes.
You said oxy something?
Oxivir.
How do you spell that?
OXI and VIR.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That'll pop up.
And I lost my train. Oh. So what I'm going to get to now is also how to store your fursuit. Especially if you're not going to be using it for a long period of time. After a con, I would suggest you actually clean your suit, fully wash it, but if you can't, you're not able to, that's fine. Just do the alcohol spray like I said. Wait for it to be fully dry, and I mean dry from the alcohol spray or the sweat, because if you do try to store it when it is still wet in any way, it will become moldy, it will become disgusting, and you can get sick, very, very sick. So be patient and wait. Like I've seen most people, you can have those big plastic tubs. If it can be stored in that, you can very gently place it in there. Or if it can't be in a tub, if you can't fold it, there are wonderful things called garment bags. I use these in my own house. They can be made of plastic or fabric. You can put them in there, zip them up, and they also tend to keep them from getting dusty or things like that. I can personally speak, they are fabulous, and they don't tend to cost a lot. They're on Amazon, I think they're on eBay, well, they're everywhere. Yes.
I got a big, they sell them to people who are mascot, a big bag for mascot suits.
There you go.
Those are available.
Awesome. And I'm gonna also get with how you can store your head. Do not store anything on top of your head. Even if your head is strong, even if it seems like it's a rock, nothing will crush it. I can guarantee you, you store something on it, it will distort your head, it will break something, and nobody really wants that, because it kind of sucks. Besides, we all like to keep our fursuits all pretty, right? Yeah. I can't even read my own either. Okay. Some tips on what you should not do is, with your fursuit, I would advise not storing it in direct sunlight for long periods of time, or in heat for a long period of time. I mean, I know it's been freakishly hot the past couple of days, and it's going to be freakishly hot today. Being outside in your fursuit and running around is one thing, but I mean, if you actually just lay it on the ground, or keep it in a hot car for long periods of time, it may melt some of the fur, and it will mat it, like this one. So just try to be a little careful. Try to store it in a cool, dry place if possible. Along that is another reason why you don't want to keep it out in sunlight for long periods of time is if it's airbrushed or just your fur itself, it can fade the colors, so it'll look old and it'll just not look pretty anymore. Yeah. Any other questions? Like, you guys can ask really randomly anything, because I think that was most of my stuff.
How would you take care of a yarn tail?
Good thing. What you can do with the yarn tail is you can spot clean it. I would not suggest putting it in water, but if you've done that, and again, works for you, good. But I would just try to spot clean it, like maybe with the alcohol spray that I mentioned, or with the detergent, but again, do a test patch first, like on a part, especially like if it's right here at the center of your back, I would test that part where no one's gonna see it as much, but that's what I would suggest. Today is a really cute tail. Anyone have any other questions? Anything like, because I think that was about it. Oh, you had a question, hon?
Do you have any favorite vendors for buying fur?
Where I have bought most faux fur to make projects with is actually in the LA Fabric District. That would be my best suggestion.
Any particular vendor there? I mean, there's a lot of we've been down there.
Not particularly. They all have pretty good fur. Most of it just comes down to the pricing of it. Is who has a better price? And here's the great thing about the LA Fabric District. You usually can tend to haggle them down to a decent price, usually without saying anything. You just stand there looking just kind of like you're not sure, they'll just haggle themselves down until they get to a price you're comfortable with. It's happened before. Yes.
Fabric Mountain on Twitter, they sell fabric, you could reach out to them.
That's a good.
They basically just go and shop for you at the LA Fabric District, my understanding. So you can cut out the middleman. Just go straight there, get your clothes.
No good advice with the LA Fabric District. Don't just go there just to wander around. I guarantee you, you will lose all your money in the first 20 minutes. I have learned that the hard way. Come with a goal set in mind. Always come with a goal set in mind. And if you're gonna make your fursuit, first of all, bravo. I do not have that type of willpower or patience. But always try to buy extra fur for yourself. Not just in case you mess up or something, but also in case something happens where you cannot repair your fur. It's always something where if you have to, you take off a sleeve, you can make a new one. There you go. Same with your head. You always want it. Ah, yes, there's one thing I can. With your head, you can brush your head, but because it's a lot harder to replace the fur on your head than on your suit, be very, 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 very gentle. Like, this is about as hard as I'm gonna ask you to brush. Very gently, very light. Very, very gentle. Because we love the fur. And yes, I'm aware of how much of a weirdo I am. I'm aware.
Okay, we're all learning how to play.
And that's why we all love each other. Wow, I only talked for half an hour. Okay.
Do you have any specific tips if you have any electronics like LED lights and stuff
Yes,
like that?
yes, that I actually do. Thank you. That actually escaped my brain. I do actually work on a parade with actually a lot of electronics. And we do have specific ways to clean them. If you have fiber optics, like if you've seen some of the furries walking around with whiskers, those are with light up whiskers, those are fiber optics. And though this seems kind of silly, because most people laugh at me when I say this, a really good way to clean those is with baby wipes and personal lube. I'm not gonna go into what personal lube is, but I think you can all guess what it is. And yes,
candy,
that actually
right?
is what we use in a personal environment. The reason is, and use an oil-based one, not a water-based, because you don't want water anywhere near electronics. But an oil-based, and the reason why is you would put it on that baby wipe and very gently go over it. Especially if you have fiber optic cables that hit the ground all the time, it completely cleans them off, and then they look beautiful and new again. But I would suggest using that anytime if they touch the ground at any point. For, let's say if you have electronics in the head, if you have mechanical head, do not use a spray. Alcohol is still your friend with this, same with Oxyvir, but I would get the actual wipes and not the spray, because sometimes it can get, the liquid can get into the mechanics and it can ruin it forever. So just gently use a wipe, sometimes, same thing. If you have electronics in your fur and you're scared about spraying it, what you can do is instead of spraying it directly, you can spray it on a towel and wipe it down. Be very gentle. And just always be aware of where the electronics are. Because, yeah, replacing electronics seems like a giant pain in the butt that none of us want. That's a good question. Thank you on that.
Oh, what about people who have feathers? Any tips on feathers versus fur?
I personally haven't had much experience with feathers. Has anyone had experience with feathers?
Who cares?
I will try to learn that for next time so that I can inform.
Because if you're using actual feathers, you know, you can break those apart and they'll look all ragged after a while. You know.
I would suggest if you do have feathers, get extras. Lots
Yeah.
and lots of extras to try to replace it if you can. Does someone have a question? Yes.
I have a suit with feathers and a detachable hairpiece.
Mhm.
I made it detachable so it's easier to clean, but what do I do about that hairpiece? Like how would I clean that hairpiece?
So for the hairpiece, is it like a wig?
This one is just fur, but I'm saying in general, any hairpiece or anything detachable, how would you clean it?
Okay, so if it's, whether it's fur or whether it's like a wig,
Yeah.
same sort of principle is, You can gently soak it in water with, if it's a wig with hair or fake hair, you can use a shampoo for that, very gently. You can hang it up to dry, especially if it has like a wig cap in it. And if you have something with clips, you can hang it and have it drip into the sink, very gentle. And then with the fur, just some detergents and some water. You can actually, if it's a small piece, you can soak that in the sink. Just scrub it a little bit, and then, again, if it's fully full of water, I wouldn't hang it up. If it can stretch easy, I would lay it over something, especially something where it can drip.
Okay.
Right? Good questions.
And I have another question.
Yes.
Piercings. I made a suit with piercings
Mhm.
on the ears. How would they be able to clean that? I mean, even though I'm the maker, I still want to get like other suggestions for the best way to clean it.
Okay. Are the piercings removable in any way, or are they just on there? Or does it not matter?
Some of them are removable, but for the most part, they're on there.
Okay, for things that have like she said, with things that have piercings, if you can't take it off, always do that before you wash it. If you cannot, I would, depending on what they're made of and what they are painted with,
Okay.
I would spot clean those areas. So let's say if it's a piercing by the ears,
Yeah.
and if it seems like it's bled or something, just try to spot clean it with a gentle detergent. All or Woolite is really good.
Okay.
You can put it in a spray bottle, and I'm gonna knock this over, like this.
Okay.
And then just take a bar towel, scrub it in. And you know what, that's just gonna stay there, because I'm not gonna look at it anymore. You're just gonna spray it, then you can take a bar towel, scrub it in, and you can grab another spray bottle with water, and then just keep doing that until most of the soap has gotten out. Then just let it air dry.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You guys want to, we can just talk the whole rest of the time. You guys don't, because I tend to talk too fast. Anyone have any stories about their fursuits they want to share?